1. We're taking a look at a 1977 Oldsmobile 98 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $3,000 for this classic ride. Now, let's dive into the details. This Oldsmobile 98 has been driven just 60,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. It comes with an automatic transmission, making it easy to drive. The exterior is finished in a striking orange color, while the interior is a complementary tan. Under the hood, you'll find a gasoline engine. The seller mentions that the car has had 2 owners throughout its life, and the good news is that the vehicle is fully paid off, so you won't have to worry about any outstanding finance payments. However, it's important to note that the seller has disclosed an issue with the car. In their description, they mention that there is a tap in the motor. This could indicate a potential problem with the engine, such as worn valve lifters or connecting rod bearings. It's crucial to investigate this further and possibly have a mechanic inspect the car before making a purchase. The seller also states that the low mileage is due to the car being sitting. This suggests that the vehicle has been stored for an extended period, which can lead to various issues like dried-out seals, deteriorated rubber components, and even rust. A thorough inspection is necessary to determine the overall condition of the car. While the seller describes the car as very clean, it's essential to see the vehicle in person and assess its condition for yourself. Keep in mind that this is a 45-year-old car, and it may have some wear and tear that's not immediately apparent in the listing. In conclusion, this 1977 Oldsmobile 98 could be an interesting project car for someone who appreciates classic vehicles. However, the mentioned engine issue and the fact that the car has been sitting for a while are important factors to consider. If you're interested in this Oldsmobile, be sure to thoroughly inspect the car and don't hesitate to negotiate the price based on any potential issues you discover. As always, do your due diligence before making a purchase to ensure you're getting a fair deal. 2. We're checking out a 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's up for grabs on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has set the price at $11,500, which seems fair considering the car's condition and the work that's been put into it. This Cutlass has clocked in at 66,280 miles, which is relatively low for its age. It's equipped with an automatic transmission, making it a breeze to drive. The exterior is finished in a classic white color, while the interior sports a tan theme. Under the hood, you'll find a built 350 engine, which suggests that the motor has been modified for improved performance. The seller also mentions that the car has headers and a dual exhaust system, further enhancing its power and sound. One of the standout features of this Cutlass is the T-tops, which allow you to enjoy an open-air driving experience. The interior is said to be in nice condition, with power windows and locks for added convenience. The seller states that the vehicle has been stored for several years and has recently been brought back out. This is a common scenario for classic cars, and it's good to know that the seller has addressed some of the issues that can arise from long-term storage. According to the description, the seller has invested in a lot of new parts, including wheel bearings, front control arm bushings, ball joints, tie rods, idler arm, shocks and springs, and rear wheel cylinders. This suggests that the car has been well maintained and that the seller has taken steps to ensure its reliability. The seller also mentions that the vehicle has a clean title and no significant damage or problems. This is always a positive sign when purchasing a classic car, as it indicates that the vehicle has not been involved in any major accidents and has been well cared for. Overall, this 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass seems to be a solid choice for anyone in the market for a classic muscle car. The modifications made to the engine, the T-tops, and the recent maintenance work all add to its appeal. However, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. If you're interested in this Cutlass, be sure to reach out to the seller and ask any additional questions you may have. With its combination of style, performance, and well-maintained condition, this car is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. 3. we're taking a closer look at a 1979 Buick Electra that's currently listed for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic beauty at $4,500. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 50,000 miles, which is quite low for a vehicle of this age. That's definitely a plus if you're looking for a car that hasn't been overly used. The Electra comes equipped with an automatic transmission, making it easy to drive for anyone. The exterior is finished in a rich burgundy color, which is a classic choice for a car of this era. Unfortunately, the seller hasn't provided information about the interior color. Now let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car has a 350 Oldsmobile rocket engine and transmission, which are said to be running and driving. This is good news, as it suggests that the car is in working order. However, the seller does admit that the car needs some TLC, or tender loving care. This is a common phrase used when a vehicle requires some repairs or restoration work. While the seller doesn't go into specifics about what kind of TLC the car needs, it's important to keep in mind that a 42-year-old car will likely have some issues that need to be addressed. It's crucial to thoroughly inspect the car in person and ask the seller for more details about the TLC it requires. This will give you a better idea of what kind of work and expenses you might be looking at if you decide to purchase this Electra. On a positive note, the seller states that the vehicle is paid off, which means you won't have to worry about any outstanding finance payments. In summary, this 1979 Buick Electra could be a great project car for someone who loves classic vehicles and isn't afraid to put in some work. The low mileage and running engine are definitely appealing, but the need for TLC is something to carefully consider. If you're interested in this Electra, be sure to reach out to the seller and ask for more information about the car's condition. It's also a good idea to bring along a mechanic or someone knowledgeable about classic cars to help you assess the vehicle's overall state. 4. We're taking a look at a 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis that's up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has set the price at $10,000, but they mention that the price is negotiable, so there may be some room for discussion. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 44,000 miles, which is incredibly low for a vehicle that's over 40 years old. This suggests that the car has been well cared for and hasn't been subjected to excessive wear and tear. The Grand Marquis is equipped with an automatic transmission, making it easy to drive. The exterior is finished in a sleek black color, while the interior boasts a striking red color scheme. The seller mentions that the leather seats are in great condition, which is a definite plus. Under the hood, you'll find the original motor, with the exception of a brand new carburetor and mechanical gauges. This suggests that the seller has invested in some updates to keep the car running smoothly. The seller does mention a few items that need attention. The brake rotors, pads, and master cylinder are set to be replaced soon, which is a good sign that the seller is proactive about maintaining the car. They also note that the air conditioning clutch is worn out, but it did blow cold when they purchased the car in June. One unique feature of this Grand Marquis is that it comes with all 4 original hubcaps and a variety of original factory parts in the trunk, including the radio, which still works, steering wheel, oil pressure sensor, water temp sensor, and fuel pump. This is a great bonus for anyone who values originality in a classic car. The seller has made some personal touches to the car, such as installing an aftermarket radio and LED interior accent lights. They also mention that the headliner has been replaced with a blanket temporarily until they can install a US flag design. It's worth noting that the seller is mainly interested in trading this Grand Marquis for another classic vehicle to replace it as their daily driver. This suggests that the car is in good enough condition to be used as a regular mode of transportation. Overall, this 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis seems to be a solid choice for anyone in the market for a classic car with low mileage and a well-maintained interior. While there are a few items that need attention, the seller appears to be upfront about these issues and is actively working to address them. 5. We're checking out a 1976 Chevrolet Caprice that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has listed this classic beauty at $10,000, but they're open to best offers or trades for something of equal value. First, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 86,000 miles. While this is higher than some of the other classic cars we've seen, it's still relatively low for a vehicle that's over 45 years old. It suggests that the car has been used regularly, but not excessively. The Caprice is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a great feature for those who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. The exterior is finished in a rich burgundy color, while the interior sports a complementary red color scheme. Under the hood, the seller mentions that the car has received some recent upgrades. They've installed a new carburetor and have had the transmission rebuilt. These improvements suggest that the seller has invested in keeping the car running smoothly and reliably. The seller also states that the vehicle is paid off and comes with a clean title. This is great news for potential buyers, as it means there are no outstanding financial obligations tied to the car. In terms of the car's condition, the seller indicates that there is no significant damage or problems. This is a positive sign, as it suggests that the car has been well maintained and cared for over the years. The seller's description is brief, but does provide some key information. They mention that the car runs great, which is always reassuring to hear. They also state that this Caprice is the last of the done, which could mean that it's one of the last models of its kind in this condition. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller is open to trades for something of equal value. If you have a classic car or another vehicle that you think might be a fair trade, it's worth reaching out to the seller to discuss the possibility. Overall, this 1976 Chevrolet Caprice seems to be a solid choice for anyone in the market for a classic American car. With its recent upgrades, clean title, and no significant issues, it could be a great addition to any collection or a fun weekend cruiser. 6. We're taking a closer look at a 1974 Plymouth Scamp that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this beautifully restored classic at $14,000, but they are open to best offers. The seller has provided a detailed description of the extensive work that has gone into bringing this Scamp back to life. From the ground up, this car has been rebuilt with a focus on quality and attention to detail. Starting with the exterior, the seller mentions that the car has received full quarter panels, a full trunk floor with trunk extensions, 2 new fenders, and replacement outer wheel houses. This suggests that any rust or damage issues have been thoroughly addressed, giving the car a solid foundation. Moving to the interior, the seller states that it has been completely redone. This likely means that the seats, carpets, and other interior components have been replaced or refurbished to provide a fresh and comfortable cabin space. The seller does note that the speedometer is not working and will need a new speedometer head. Under the hood, the Scamp is powered by a 360 engine paired with a 727 transmission. The transmission has been rebuilt and features a 2500 stall converter and a shift kit, which should provide improved performance and a sportier driving experience. The seller has also installed a brand new AVS2 Edelbrock carburetor, ensuring that the engine is running at its best. The seller has also invested in updating many of the car's mechanical components. The fuel tank, fuel lines, and brake lines have all been replaced, and the entire brake system is said to be brand new. The front suspension has also been completely refreshed, and the car now rides on rear air shocks for a smooth and comfortable ride. The tires are also new, providing excellent grip and peace of mind. One minor issue the seller mentions is that while the car does charge, the aftermarket amp gauge is not working correctly. This is a relatively small problem that can likely be easily addressed. The exterior of the Scamp is finished in a beautiful blue color, while the interior sports a sleek black color scheme. The seller states that they have a clean title in hand, which is always a plus when purchasing a classic car. Overall, this 1974 Plymouth Scamp appears to be a lovingly restored classic that has received a significant amount of time, effort, and investment. The seller's detailed description and mention of having photos of the car before the restoration suggest that they have been transparent about the work that has gone into the vehicle. 7. We're taking a look at a 1971 Cadillac Eldorado that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has listed this classic luxury car at $5,000. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 58,000 miles. For a vehicle that's over 50 years old, this is a remarkably low number. It suggests that the car has been well cared for and hasn't been subjected to excessive wear and tear over the years. The Eldorado is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a common feature for luxury cars of this era. It provides a smooth and effortless driving experience, allowing you to cruise in style and comfort. The exterior of the car is finished in a striking green color, while the interior boasts a crisp white color scheme. This classic color combination is sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now let's move on to the seller's description. It's quite brief, simply stating that the car runs and drives good. While this is encouraging to hear, it doesn't provide a lot of detail about the car's overall condition. The seller also mentions, "Don't ask if it's available. If it's listed, it is." This suggests that they may have received multiple inquiries about the car and want to streamline the process for potential buyers. However, it's important to note that the brevity of the description leaves some questions unanswered. The seller doesn't mention anything about the car's maintenance history, any recent repairs or upgrades, or the condition of the interior and exterior. When considering a classic car like this, it's crucial to gather as much information as possible before making a purchase. Potential buyers should definitely reach out to the seller and ask for more details about the car's condition, history, and any known issues. It's also a good idea to inspect the car in person and take it for a test drive if possible. This will give you a better sense of how the car runs and handles, and allow you to check for any potential problems that may not be apparent from the listing. In summary, this 1971 Cadillac Eldorado could be a great opportunity for someone looking for a classic luxury car at an affordable price. The low mileage is definitely a plus, and the car's striking color combination is sure to make a statement. 8. We're taking a closer look at a stunning 1980 Chevrolet El Camino that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this beauty at $9,950, and from the description, it seems like it could be a great deal for the right buyer. First, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 80,000 miles. While this is higher than some of the other classic cars we've seen, it's still relatively low for a vehicle that's over 40 years old. It suggests that the car has been used regularly, but not excessively. The El Camino is equipped with an automatic transmission, which the seller says shifts smoothly, as it should. The exterior is finished in a vibrant red color, while the interior boasts a complementary burgundy color scheme. Now, let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car is powered by a Chevy small block engine that has been upgraded with several new components, including stainless headers, a dual exhaust system, an Edelbrock aluminum intake, and a new 4-barrel carburetor. These additions should provide a noticeable boost in performance. The seller also notes that the car has a new distributor, power window motors, and an AC compressor. However, they do mention that the AC system needs to be vacuumed down and charged up to be fully functional. One of the most impressive aspects of this El Camino is its condition. The seller states that the paint job is a high-quality base coat clear coat finish that rates as a 10 out of 10. They also emphasize that the car has no rust and has never had any rust issues, which is a testament to how well it has been cared for over the years. The interior is described as being very neat and clean, suggesting that it has been well maintained. The seller also mentions that the car has new tires all around, which is a great bonus. While the seller acknowledges that the car is not perfect, as it's 40 years old, they emphasize that it has been meticulously cared for throughout its life. The El Camino comes with a clean Florida title, making it ready for a new owner to enjoy. Overall, this 1980 Chevrolet El Camino seems to be a fantastic opportunity for anyone in the market for a classic muscle car with some tasteful upgrades. The seller's detailed description and emphasis on the car's excellent condition suggest that it has been a cherished vehicle that has received plenty of attention and care. 9. We're taking a look at a 1960 Mercury Comet that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic beauty at $10,000, which seems like a fair deal considering the car's condition and recent maintenance. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 34,123 miles. For a vehicle that's over 60 years old, this is an incredibly low number. It suggests that the car has been very well cared for and has not been subjected to excessive wear and tear throughout its life. The Comet is equipped with an automatic transmission, which the seller mentions has been recently rebuilt. This is a great sign, as it indicates that the seller has invested in keeping the car in good mechanical condition. The exterior of the car is finished in a lovely blue color, while the interior features a complementary beige color scheme. This classic color combination is sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now, let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car is well maintained, which is evident from the low mileage and recent maintenance work. The seller notes that in addition to the transmission rebuild, the brakes have been serviced and the oil has been changed. This suggests that the car is ready to be driven and enjoyed by its new owner. The seller also states that the vehicle has had 3 or more owners throughout its life. While some buyers might prefer a car with fewer previous owners, it's not uncommon for a classic car of this age to have changed hands a few times. One of the most appealing aspects of this Comet is that the seller describes it as having no significant damage or problems. They also mention that the car comes with a clean title, which is always a plus when purchasing a classic vehicle. The fact that the car is a 2-door model with a 6-cylinder engine makes it a great choice for those who want a classic car that's easy to drive and maintain. The automatic transmission also adds to the car's overall convenience and accessibility. Overall, this 1960 Mercury Comet seems to be a fantastic opportunity for anyone in the market for a well-maintained classic car. The seller's description and the recent maintenance work suggest that the car has been cherished and cared for throughout its life. 10. We're checking out a 1976 Cadillac Fleetwood that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has listed this classic luxury car at $8,500, which seems like a reasonable price considering the vehicle's age and condition. First, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 62,390 miles. While this is higher than some of the other classic cars we've seen, it's still relatively low for a vehicle that's nearly 50 years old. It suggests that the car has been used regularly but not excessively throughout its life. The Fleetwood is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a common feature for luxury cars of this era. It provides a smooth and effortless driving experience, allowing you to cruise in style and comfort. The exterior of the car is finished in a vibrant yellow color, while the interior boasts a bold blue color scheme. This unique color combination is sure to make a statement wherever you go. Now let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car runs well, which is always a good sign. The seller also notes that the Fleetwood has new tires and a new stereo system, indicating that they have invested in some recent upgrades to enhance the driving experience. The seller acknowledges that the car has some cosmetic issues in the interior, which is not surprising for a vehicle of this age. However, they also state that the car is pretty solid overall and in good shape for being almost 50 years old. It's important to keep in mind that while the seller describes the interior issues as cosmetic, potential buyers should still inspect the car thoroughly to assess the extent of these issues and determine if they are acceptable or if they require further attention. The seller's description suggests that they are being transparent about the car's condition, acknowledging both its strengths and weaknesses. This is a good sign, as it indicates that the seller is not trying to hide any potential problems. Overall, this 1976 Cadillac Fleetwood seems to be a solid choice for someone looking for a classic luxury car with a unique color scheme and some recent upgrades. The mileage is relatively low for its age, and the seller's description suggests that the car is in good running condition. 11. We're taking a closer look at a stunning 1961 Chevrolet Impala that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic beauty at $15,000 or best offer, and they're also open to trade offers. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 10,000 miles. While it's unclear if this is the original mileage or if the odometer has rolled over, it's still an impressively low number for a vehicle that's over 60 years old. This suggests that the car has been very well cared for and has not seen excessive use. The Impala is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a great feature for those who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. The exterior of the car is finished in a sleek black color, while the interior boasts a crisp white color scheme. This classic color combination is timeless and sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now, let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car has a built 350 engine, which likely means that the original engine has been replaced or heavily modified for improved performance. The seller notes that the engine runs well and has a lot of power, which is great news for those who enjoy a thrilling driving experience. The seller also emphasizes that the car is extremely clean, suggesting that it has been well maintained and cared for over the years. They specifically mention that the interior is in perfect condition, which is a testament to how well the car has been preserved. It's worth noting that the seller does have the original hood, steering wheel, and radio for the car, even though they may not be currently installed. This is a great bonus for those who value originality and may want to restore the car to its factory appearance. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller doesn't provide a detailed description of the car's overall condition or any potential issues. While they mention that the car is clean and the interior is perfect, it's always a good idea to inspect the vehicle thoroughly in person and ask the seller for more information about its history and maintenance records. As with any classic car, it's important to consider the potential costs of ownership, such as insurance, storage, and ongoing maintenance. However, for the right buyer, this 1961 Chevrolet Impala could be a fantastic investment and a source of joy for years to come. 12. We're taking a look at a 1960 Ford Fairlane that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic car at $6,000, but they're also open to trade offers. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 80,000 miles. While this is higher than some of the other classic cars we've seen, it's not uncommon for a vehicle that's over 60 years old. It suggests that the car has been used regularly, but not excessively throughout its life. The Fairlane is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a great feature for those who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. The exterior of the car is currently finished in white primer, while the interior boasts a black color scheme. The seller mentions that the chrome bumpers are in great condition underneath the removable paint. Now, let's dive into the seller's description. They provide a detailed list of the car's mechanical upgrades, including a 302 roller motor from an '88 Mustang, a Summit dual plane intake, a Berry Grant carburetor, an HEI distributor, an FMX transmission with a B&M Magnum shifter, and a Ford 9 rear end with 350 gears. These modifications suggest that the car has been built for improved performance. The seller does acknowledge that the car has some rust in a couple of spots, but they emphasize that the frame is solid. They also mention that the front suspension was recently rebuilt, and the motor, transmission, and rear end were resealed in the summer of 2023, indicating that the seller has invested in maintaining and upgrading the car. However, the seller does disclose a couple of known issues. The transmission shifter cable needs to be readjusted, as it doesn't always shift into third gear, and the transmission pan gasket occasionally drips. These issues should be taken into consideration when evaluating the car's overall condition and value. Despite these minor issues, the seller describes the car as a great project or family cruiser and a good entry-level classic car. They emphasize that it's in good shape for being 65 years old. The seller also expresses their willingness to trade for certain cars or projects, specifically mentioning American V8 RWD cars, JDM RWD AWD cars, and two-door hot rod projects. They note that any trade needs to have room for their wife and 2 kids, and they're not interested in bikes or boats. Overall, this 1960 Ford Fairlane seems to be a solid project car, with some nice mechanical upgrades. While it does have some rust and minor issues, the seller appears to be transparent about the car's condition and is invested in maintaining and improving it. 13. We're checking out a 1979 Chevrolet Corvette that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has listed this classic sports car at $10,500, which seems like a fair price considering the vehicle's condition and recent upgrades. First, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 100,000 miles. While this might seem high for some classic cars, it's not uncommon for a Corvette of this age. It suggests that the car has been enjoyed and driven regularly over the years. The Corvette is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a great feature for those who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. The exterior of the car is finished in a vibrant red color, which is a classic choice for a Corvette. The interior also sports a matching red color scheme, giving the car a cohesive and stylish look. Now let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car runs great, which is always a good sign. The seller also notes that they've made several recent upgrades to the vehicle, including new carpet, an intake, a carburetor, and a radiator. These improvements suggest that the seller has invested in maintaining and enhancing the car's performance and comfort. The seller also states that the car has received lots of new parts, indicating that they've put effort into keeping the Corvette in good condition. This is a positive sign, as it shows that the seller has been proactive about addressing any issues or wear and tear. One of the most appealing aspects of this Corvette is that the seller describes it as having no significant damage or problems. They also mention that the car comes with a clean title and is fully paid off, which is always a plus when purchasing a classic vehicle. While the seller's description is relatively brief, it does provide some key information about the car's condition and recent upgrades. However, potential buyers should still consider inspecting the car thoroughly in person and asking the seller for more details about the vehicle's history, maintenance records, and any other relevant information. Overall, this 1979 Chevrolet Corvette seems to be a well-maintained classic sports car with some nice recent upgrades. The mileage is relatively high, but not unexpected for a car of this age, and the seller's description suggests that they've taken good care of the vehicle. 14. We're taking a closer look at a 1965 Chevrolet Malibu that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic beauty at $15,000, which seems like a fair deal considering the vehicle's age, mileage, and overall condition. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven just 46,218 miles. For a vehicle that's nearly 60 years old, this is an impressively low number. It suggests that the car has been very well cared for and has not seen excessive use throughout its life. The Malibu is equipped with an automatic transmission, which is a great feature for those who prefer a more relaxed driving experience. The exterior of the car is finished in a classic white color, while the interior boasts a vibrant red color scheme. This color combination is timeless and sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car has a 283 motor, which is the original engine size for this model year. The seller also notes that the car runs and drives well, which is always a good sign. They specifically mention that the brakes are in good working order, which is an important safety feature. The seller states that the car comes with a clean title under their name and has current plates, indicating that the vehicle is legally registered and ready to be driven by its new owner. One thing to note is that the seller's description is relatively brief and doesn't provide a lot of detail about the car's overall condition or any potential issues. While they mention that the car runs and drives well, it's always a good idea to inspect the vehicle thoroughly in person and ask the seller for more information about its history and maintenance records. It's also worth considering that while the mileage is low, a car of this age may still have some wear and tear or require ongoing maintenance. Potential buyers should factor in the costs of ownership, such as insurance, storage, and any necessary repairs or upgrades. The seller mentions that the car has had 2 owners throughout its life, which is a relatively low number for a vehicle of this age. This could be a good sign, as it suggests that the car has been well maintained and cherished by its previous owners. Overall, this 1965 Chevrolet Malibu seems to be a well-preserved classic car with low mileage and a desirable color combination. While the seller's description is brief, the car's age, mileage, and overall condition make it an attractive option for classic car enthusiasts. 15. We're taking a look at a 1984 Chevrolet Camaro that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this race-ready car at $12,000, which seems like a fair deal considering the vehicle's modifications and performance capabilities. The Camaro is equipped with an automatic transmission, specifically a power glide with a trans brake. This type of transmission is commonly used in drag racing applications due to its durability and consistency. The exterior of the car is finished in a bold red color, while the interior features a sleek black color scheme. Now, let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car has a 400 small block Chevy SBC engine, which is a popular choice for high-performance builds. The combination of the 400 SBC and the Powerglide transmission suggests that this Camaro has been built with drag racing in mind. The seller states that the car is a good, solid race car that performs consistently. They specifically mention that the car runs 7.50 seconds in the 1/8 mile with a 270-pound driver. This is an impressive elapsed time, ET, for an 1/8 mile run, and indicates that the car has been well tuned and optimized for racing. It's important to note that the seller doesn't provide much information about the car's overall condition or any potential issues. While they mention that it's a solid race car, potential buyers should still consider inspecting the vehicle thoroughly in person and asking the seller for more details about its history, maintenance records, and any recent upgrades or repairs. As with any race car, it's crucial to factor in the costs of ownership, such as transportation, storage, ongoing maintenance, and potential repairs or upgrades. Buyers should also ensure that they have access to suitable racing facilities and are familiar with the rules and regulations of the events they plan to participate in. The seller mentions that the car is located in Mount Vernon, Texas, which is an important detail for potential buyers to consider in terms of transportation and logistics. Overall, this 1984 Chevrolet Camaro seems to be a well-built race car with impressive performance capabilities. The combination of the 400 SBC engine and the Powerglide transmission with a trans brake makes it an attractive option for drag racing enthusiasts. 16. We're taking a closer look at a 1975 Plymouth Duster that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic muscle car at $13,000, which seems like a fair deal considering the recent mechanical work and overall condition of the vehicle. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has been driven 100,000 miles. While this might seem high for some classic cars, it's not uncommon for a vehicle of this age. It suggests that the car has been enjoyed and driven regularly over the years. The Duster is equipped with an automatic transmission, specifically a 904, which is a popular choice for Mopar enthusiasts. The exterior of the car is finished in a striking purple color, while the interior features a bold red color scheme. This unique color combination is sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now let's dive into the seller's description. They mention that the car has a freshly rebuilt 3D18 engine with a 2-barrel carburetor. This is a great sign, as it indicates that the heart of the car has been recently overhauled and should provide reliable performance. The seller also notes that they've installed a rebuilt rear end and front suspension, which suggests that the car's handling and ride quality have been improved. The seller does acknowledge that the car needs new carpet and doesn't have a radio, which are relatively minor issues that can be easily addressed. They also mention that the car is not perfect and has some bodywork, which is important to keep in mind when considering the overall condition of the vehicle. However, the seller also states that the car has no significant damage or problems, which is a positive sign. They mention that Pops drives the car to local shows and around town, suggesting that the vehicle is in good running condition and is regularly enjoyed. Another positive aspect is that the seller notes the car runs cool at all times, which indicates that the cooling system is functioning properly and has been well maintained. While the seller's description provides a good overview of the car's condition and recent upgrades, potential buyers should still consider inspecting the vehicle thoroughly in person and asking for more details about the extent of the bodywork needed and any other potential issues. Overall, this 1975 Plymouth Duster seems to be a solid classic muscle car with some nice recent mechanical upgrades. The rebuilt engine, transmission, rear end, and front suspension are all positive features that should provide improved performance and reliability. 17. We're taking a look at a 1977 Pontiac Firebird that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller has priced this classic muscle car at $10,000, which seems like a fair starting point considering the vehicle's condition and the work it needs. First off, let's talk about the mileage. The seller states that the car has 115,000 original miles, which is relatively high for a classic car. However, they also mention that the odometer currently shows 19,848 miles, which could indicate that the odometer has rolled over once. The Firebird is equipped with a factory 350 automatic transmission, which the seller notes sticks a little in reverse. They attribute this issue to the periods of time the car sits idle and mention that they have a new transmission filter that hasn't been installed yet. Under the hood, you'll find a Pontiac 400 6.6-liter engine, which is a desirable power plant among Pontiac enthusiasts. The seller has made some performance upgrades, including an Edelbrock intake manifold and carburetor, as well as headers. These modifications should provide a nice boost in power and performance. The exterior of the car is finished in a silver color, while the interior features a red color scheme. The seller mentions that the car has factory air conditioning and power windows, which are nice creature comforts to have in a classic car. They also note that the car has newer tires, which is a plus. Now let's address some of the areas that need attention. The seller admits that the hood has rust and needs to be replaced. They also mention that the car needs a new trunk pan and has some light surface rust forming in other areas. While they state that the rust is nothing to be too concerned about, it's important for potential buyers to inspect the car thoroughly to assess the extent of the corrosion. The seller also discloses a dent in the rear quarter panel, which is visible in the provided pictures. They acknowledge that they haven't been the best at covering the car and protecting it from the elements. The seller is upfront about not having the time to work on the car and wanting to pass it on to someone who can give it the attention it deserves. They encourage potential buyers to reach out with any additional questions. Overall, this 1977 Pontiac Firebird seems to be a project car with good bones but in need of some work. The rust issues and the dent in the rear quarter panel are the main areas of concern, and potential buyers should factor in the cost of addressing these issues when considering the asking price. 18. Let me give you my honest take on this 1981 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's up for grabs on Marketplace. Look, I've got to be straight with you. This one's raising some red flags. The seller mentions a lifting sound from the V6 motor, which is typically a serious mechanical issue that could indicate worn lifters, valve train problems, or even more severe engine damage. For $4,300, that's a pretty significant concern you can't ignore. The Cutlass was actually a pretty solid car in its day. These early 80s models were part of GM's popular G-body platform, and they had a decent reputation for reliability when properly maintained. The gold exterior is a classic color choice for that era, and these cars can be really sharp when they're in good shape. But here's the thing, at this price point, with a potentially failing engine, it's hard to recommend this as a good buy. You're likely looking at some expensive repairs in the near future. If you're a mechanic or planning a full restoration project, maybe there's potential here. But for most buyers, I'd suggest either negotiating the price way down or looking for a Cutlass in better mechanical condition. Remember, these old Oldsmobiles have a strong following, and good ones are out there. But this particular example sounds like it needs some serious attention under the hood. I want you to know what you're potentially getting into before making a decision. 19. Let's talk about this 1973 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's popped up on Marketplace for $8,500. This is actually a pretty interesting find from a significant era of American muscle cars. The 73 Cutlass was one of the last models before the big emissions regulations really kicked in, and at 77,033 miles, that's surprisingly low mileage for a 50-year-old car. The gray exterior with black interior is a classic, timeless combination that still looks sharp today. The seller's description is pretty bare bones with just, "runs good, come get it," which honestly makes me a bit cautious. When spending $8,500, you'd want more details about the car's maintenance history, any restoration work, and current mechanical condition. The brief description could either mean it's a straightforward, honest car, or there might be issues the seller isn't mentioning. These early 70s Cutlasses came with some solid engine options, typically the Rocket V8, and they're known for their smooth ride and strong performance for the era. The automatic transmission was pretty reliable in these models too. However, at this age, you'll want to check thoroughly for rust, especially in the frame, floor pans, and trunk areas. It was a common issue with these cars. For $8,500, you're in the middle range for 73 Cutlass pricing. It's not suspiciously cheap, but not premium pricing either. If the body is solid and the mechanicals are truly in good shape, it could be a fair deal. These cars are increasingly appreciated by collectors. Just make sure to get a thorough inspection before pulling the trigger, as restoration parts, while available, can get pricey quickly. Remember, this could be a great classic cruiser with some real presence on the road, but as with any 50-year-old car, go in with eyes wide open and do your due diligence. 20. Let's check out this 1979 El Camino that's up for $10,000 on Marketplace. I've got to say, this one's catching my attention for the right reasons. At 76,000 miles, it's lived a reasonable life, and the seller's being refreshingly detailed and honest about both the good and the bad. The black-on-black color combo is always a classic choice for these G-body El Caminos. Let's break down what we're looking at here. The seller's done some serious mechanical work. Rebuilt transmission, rebuilt carburetor, new gaskets, wires, and spark plugs. That's all good news because it shows they've invested in the car's mechanical health. The 350 small block is a fantastic, reliable engine that's easy to work on and has plenty of aftermarket support. They're upfront about the cons. The AC and heater aren't working, which is a common issue in these older cars, and the headliner needs redoing. These aren't deal breakers, but they're good bargaining points. The paint being an 810 is promising, and you're getting both new rims and the original stock wheels, which adds value. For $10,000, considering the mechanical work done, the relatively low mileage, and the overall condition, this seems like a fair ask in today's market. El Caminos are unique vehicles, part car, part truck, and they've got a strong following. This one appears to be a solid example that's been cared for and upgraded thoughtfully. Just remember to check for the usual G-body rust spots around the wheel wells and frame. But given the seller's transparency about other issues, this could be a really nice find for someone wanting a classic El Camino that's ready to drive and enjoy. The fact that it's tagged until 2025 suggests it's been a regular driver, not just sitting around collecting dust.